San Miguel Community Foundation has supported at least 91 of 124 nonprofits over the past 50 years, and it plans to do even more in the next 50 years. The foundation impact has improved our community's health and well-being through nutrition, education, cultural investments, and encouragement of local enterprises, as well as environmental sustainability initiatives. The foundation's core has been the project grants and providing U.S. tax deductions for donations for donors. In the future, it will provide capacity building and certification for nonprofits that meet standards. The foundation plans to launch a community unification campaign to promote collaboration. And it plans to make all of this fun through integration with the arts to make this a model for Mexico and beyond. Today's foundation board member, Anna Copeland, will share how the organization has turned generosity into lasting impact since 1976. Reverend Dr. Anna is passionate about personal and community transformation, leading international wilderness spirituality retreats, and supporting global education and housing projects that change lives, therefore changing the world for the better. Through initiatives rooted in compassion, inclusion, and justice, Anna has worked as a spiritual leader, social advocate, community builder for more than 3 decades of ministry and public service. She is the author of Sex in the Spirit, an adventure enthusiast, and a champion of the arts and theater who now embraces a new chapter in Mexico. Anna has earned a master's degree in counseling psychology from the University of Nebraska, a master's degree of divinity from Yale University, a Doctor of Ministry degree from Chicago Theological Seminar. Wow. Locally, she serves 3 terms as minister in residence for the community church. So please help me welcome Anna to the Rotary podium as she shares 50 years of impact and plans.
Gracias para su hospitalidad. Before we begin today, I want to say I joined the board of the San Miguel Community Foundation for the same reason I joined Rotary more than 30 years ago. Because through Rotary, I learned and experienced that individually we can change lives, but collectively we can change the world. I really believed then and still do in Polio Plus, 90% there. We go forward a couple steps backward. But over these decades, Rotary has expanded so profoundly and locally, as you see, but also regionally and nationally, a passion and commitment that the San Miguel Community Foundation shares. So thank you very much for welcoming me today on behalf of the board of San Miguel Community Foundation. This is the story of where the San Miguel Community Foundation began, what we've learned, and how we're stepping into the next 50 years with clarity and humility. We've learned a lot, and also with ambition. We know, and you know, that San Miguel draws people from everywhere, from all over the world, artists, philanthropists, creators, and seekers of every kind. This is the most profound collective of extraordinary people that I have ever experienced in my personal life. Are you with me? This is just such an incredible place. And we find ourselves at a time and place in history when it's needed the very most. 50 years of impact. For 50 years, the San Miguel Community Foundation has supported the grassroots organizations that quietly hold this community together. We were founded, as you heard from Joe a little earlier, as a 501(c)(3), and over the decades, we've donated nearly $2.5 million US from funds that have been given to the foundation to serve locally identified needs of this community and the wider communities around San Miguel. Our work has always been locally rooted, responsive, and focused on significant needs. And I will tell you that as a board member, Any role that we can play to empower our community to flourish is the honor of a lifetime, and I know that's a commitment that many of you share. Today, the vision of the San Miguel Community Foundation is to identify, empower, and fund community, non-government organizations that support sustainability in the following 6 areas. First, health and well-being. From basic medical care to mental health, dignified aging to animal welfare, we step in where access is limited. We're committed to supporting the goals of those organizations, their dreams, their aspirations to thrive, empowering them to accomplish their goals. We don't come in with what we think somebody else needs. Organizations like Bomberos y Paramédicos, President Carlos Gonzalez. We funded their digital radio communication systems, 30 units, so that they could communicate with one another in the field. And we also gave them compressors that last month they told me allowed them to use their ventilated masks. And last year they were able to save a mother and the infant from a burning building as a consequence of that. So even small things that we do really matter and make a difference. Food and nutrition. Food insecurity exists even in a city known for abundance. We all know this. For decades, the San Miguel Community Foundation has helped fund nonprofits to ensure that families and seniors and the food insecure children have reliable access to nutritious food. These efforts that many of you share stabilize households and protect health and preserve dignity. So when people are fed, everything else becomes possible. So the organization you all know, So Others May Eat, is one example of that. We have many other feeding food programs. And last year, the grant they applied for, we provided chickens for a year to feed the hungry in San Miguel. Education and youth is one of our priorities. It's one of the most powerful long-term investments we make in San Miguel's future. We've supported organizations focused on early childhood development, academic access, vocational training, and youth mentorship. Many of you are involved in organizations that at one point or another, or maybe several times, have received funds from the San Miguel Community Foundation. We're committed to helping young people build skills and confidence and opportunity, especially where resources are scarce. Organizations like Escuela de Educación Especial de San Miguel de Allende, President John Doherty. Have you ever heard of him? Hearing impaired children once spent their childhood in the corner of public schools with coloring books and crayons through their young life. John told me just not long ago. These children who are deaf now receive a full education, vocational training, post-high school education for those who qualify, and an arts program with creative handmade items for sale. This year, the foundation funded an outreach program to identify hearing impaired preschool children from out in the campo to provide medical care and early intervention and connect families with opportunities for their children to thrive. That's a brand new program and it will grow over time. Or the efforts of Fundación Comunitaria Don Diego, President Juan Manuel Carreo, lo siento para mi español. Serving a significantly underserved community through after-school programs, a computer lab, the only community library they have, and safe exercise areas, among other significant programs that lift the lives of the entire community. I get to tell these stories because I'm on the outreach committee for the foundation, and I get to visit all of these folks, and it's the thrill of my lifetime living here, I will tell you. So I'm pleased to tell you these stories. Arts and culture. We support organizations that preserve heritage, expand creative access, and nurture artistic expression. Organizations like El Recreo de San Miguel, also known as El Sindicato on Recreo, President Cesar Arias de la Canal. As more resources are available for expats and tourists to enjoy opera, music, theater, and the arts, how many of you enjoy any of those things? Such cultural resources continue to dwindle for our local Mexico children. This year, we supplied a new sound system for Teatro El Sindicato that brings children kindergarten through secondary school age to free theater experiences annually and provides local classes in dance, music, and theater for local children to experience the arts that so many of us enjoy and whose access we all take for granted. Local enterprise. Economic stability strengthens family and neighborhoods. We back nonprofits that support job training, small enterprises, artisans, and workforce development. These efforts help people build sustainable livelihoods while keeping San Miguel's local economy rooted and resilient. For example, last year we funded a wood cutting machine for Centro Educativo Via Las Lubes. They prepare young people vocationally for adulthood through a 4-year training program with specializations in natural cosmetics, textile design, botanical pressing, carpentry, blacksmithing, bread, and food preparation. And the last one of our 6 priorities is environmental sustainability. San Miguel's future depends on protecting its land, water, and precious resources. We support organizations focused on conservation, water stewardship, and sustainable agriculture. Caring for our community is essential to the health of the entire area. All of us in this room know that we face a severe water crisis in San Miguel, do we not? It's an equal opportunity issue. And it impacts everybody. One of Tacún Centro para la Ecologia's most recent projects is Agua para la Vida, ecological restoration and education. The Tacún Center is building water, food, health, and ecological resilience for rural communities by restoring traditional rainwater reservoirs and repairing their surrounding ecosystems. And board member and president of that AC, Ben Zion Pashnik, is with us here this morning. Thank you for your work. Here's our challenge. San Miguel is indeed extraordinary, yet we are changing fast. You just have to drive on the Libre Miente to know that. Beauty draws people in, but growth produces systemic change and strain. So our work sits in that tension. Preserve our heritage while strengthening what's fragile. Global attention, 4 times on the list of best places to live in the world, is great, but it also raises costs locally, it increases inequity, and it puts pressure on our local nonprofits. So here's our opportunity. For 5 decades, the San Miguel Community Foundation has quietly and steadfastly served the city's nonprofit ecosystem. Now, we could look to this 50-year mark with nostalgia, but we're expanding our reach with a 3-pillar plan to drive impact for the future that isn't just for us. Everyone in this room is a part of this vision. This is a vision for all of us who are involved in trying to make a difference in San Miguel de Allende. The first role, our role is this: to continue the core work that we've always done. Number 1, we hear project grants twice a year through applications, and then we give out funds from our foundation to nonprofits who are in need that meet these 6 areas, which are pretty expansive. The second is pass-through donations. So for people who have a passion about a particular nonprofit, they can donate through the 501c3 to that organization in line with these mission and visions as donors to organizations. The third, which is continuing to be developed, is capacity building, training and equipping startups with the skills that they need to reach their goals. They may not know how to apply for a grant, they may not have any computers, their village might not even have electricity. And 4 is relationship development. So instead of just giving people money, this is something that we're continuing to build, is developing relationships with each of the ACs that we support. We're still doing what we've always done, but what's changing is how we're doing it. We're determined to become even more transparent, more collaborative, and more expansive in what we can do. So this is our evolution from simply a funder, which was significant for a long time, to a connector of people and organizations that want to make an impact. From siloed, doing just this thing, to being a shared vision for all of us so that we can raise the level for everybody in this wider area. So we're determined to be an even stronger bridge between donors, nonprofits, and the entire region. So here's the big idea. Collaboration beats competition. We don't need to compete with each other for resources. When nonprofits are more fully understood and supported, the whole city can thrive. So for donors, when nonprofits are vetted properly and visible and supported, then generosity grows everywhere. And when the pathways on how to connect as donors with those in need are more clear, then more people will step forward. For nonprofits, when resources are shared and leveraged, every organization, no matter the size, from first startups to people who have been at it for 30 years, can show up stronger. And for volunteers, people come here, whether for a week, 6 weeks, or 6 years, volunteers, people need to know how to connect with people in need, and then relationships will thrive and grow. So this is what we're building. You heard earlier from Joe that San Miguel has 124 registered nonprofits and that we've supported 91 of them over the years. Despite this extraordinary impact, it's still maddeningly difficult for donors and volunteers to connect with organizations on the ground. So imagine how much more impact we could have if donors and volunteers had an easy way to plug in to need. So we've developed a 3-part plan to empower San Miguel's entire nonprofit ecosystem. We're going to first establish a verified nonprofit network to drive collaboration and engender trust. Launch One San Miguel, which is a citywide invitation to inspire collective responsibility. And third, invite global visitors to join our mission. So Pillar 1, the nonprofit network. We want everybody in San Miguel to be able to give generously with confidence. We uphold, as the San Miguel Community Foundation, best practices for philanthropic generosity. That's important if you're a major donor. We're proud to have earned Candid's Platinum Badge for accountability and transparency, the highest rating they award. Number 2, we're creating digital badging. Digital badges function, for those of you who are old like me, like a modern Good Housekeeping seal. You remember those? It means the organization has been vetted. They're verified, they're accountable in their finances, they're transparent, and the badge can be revoked if they're no longer consistent with those values, so that donors can give with confidence, knowing a little bit about that organization, that somebody's in a relationship with them. So when donors invest in San Miguel, they can be certain that their resources are going to have impact. Next, we're going to produce the directory. We're building a robust, interactive digital directory to showcase all our nonprofit members, because when you come here, you don't even know who they are. How do you know that? So we're creating the directory. There's others who have worked on this in the past. We're not the first or the last, but we're hoping this will be easy to donate, volunteer, and connect. Pillar 2 is One San Miguel. We're launching an annual public campaign rooted in a simple idea: shared responsibility for the place we love. One San Miguel is an invitation for collective stewardship. We're raising a really big tent at the beginning of our next 50 years. It's exclusively positive, politically nonpartisan, culturally respectful, and built to endure. Art equals impact. The creative arts, we know, are the lifeblood of San Miguel. We just have to look around this room, right? Thank you, David. We can't have a movement without the arts and without music. So the Community Foundation is thrilled to welcome Nashville sensation and hometown hero Stephanie Urbina Jones. She's going to bring our One San Miguel campaign to life. She was the first to marry country music with mariachi music at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville. And she's going to kick off our 50th anniversary at a public event you'll know more about in the future that will take place in October. Her personal passion is connecting expats from all over the world and visitors with the Mexican culture. That's her personal life vision. So this part is a little out of my wheelhouse, but I'm going to share it with you because even when we're old, we can learn new things, right? Art makes our story fly. So we're elevating San Miguel's creative community with a series of artist-inspired and designed postcards to amplify our story. What you have on your chairs today is the work of Ted Davis. It's his iconic photography. So it's our first artist. And this is the inaugural gathering here at Rotary on how this is going to work. So the front side of these postcards, they're going to include One San Miguel, and the back side is a trackable QR code that connects the community with the foundation's website. So for those of you who haven't done this yet, you take a picture of that QR code with your phone, and it's going to direct you to the website. And if you share it with friends or newcomers to the community, it will let them know how they can plug in and how they can give or how they can volunteer. So we hope you'll take these home, test this out with your phone. Nobody will know how long it takes you to figure it out if it's the first time. Then you'll be able to use a menu when you get to Dallas one day because you can't see a real person there anymore at a restaurant. This is a great place to practice. And then there are more of those up front that you can collect. This series will continue to grow through the year and will be available so we can share this with everyone we know and invite them to be a part of where we're headed next. As a Rotarian back in the States, you know I participated with all of you in the Polio Plus campaign, and we're so close. We can do the same in creating an expanded community model for systemic change. That's what this is. It's an expanded community model for systemic change. So pillar 3 is visitors and visibility. Visitors come to San Miguel ready to come back and to give back. So the biggest impact you can have right now as Rotarians, and you are the first folks we've talked to about this, is to spread the word about the foundation and our shared vision for a healthy and vibrant San Miguel for all people that includes all of the extraordinary work you are already doing and will make it more visible. We're blazing a pathway to generosity that changes lives and will change the world. Scalable. The One San Miguel campaign is not simply a local example of community collaboration. As Rotarians, you know this better than anybody else. Our challenges are not unique. Gentrification, economic disparity, diminishing resources, these are global problems. Fortunately, our collective capacity for kindness, generosity, and love is infinite. I'm a church pastor. What did you think I'd say? Our collective capacity for kindness, generosity, and love is infinite. And lastly, last slide of the day, San Miguel's magic. We all know the enormity of the problems we face, both here and around the globe. We all read the papers. We all listen to the news. We feel extraordinarily discouraged at times, and all too often we feel like there is nothing we can do. Well, that simply is not true. If we are willing and courageous, we can all become agents of change, whatever our age or capacity. Individually, we are extraordinarily powerful. Collectively, we are unbelievably unstoppable. Here in San Miguel, the heart of Mexico, we share a vision, the capacity and the tenacity to create an alternative story, a story that starts with the question, what do you need? How can we help? What do you need? How can we help? What do you need? How can we help? Thank you for joining us in Dreaming Big. Thank you. I know we have a short question and answer time, but I do have some people to introduce today. Araceli is here. Araceli Cerritos, for 26 years, has been our Director of Operations at the Foundation. Thank you, Araceli. She can answer questions. Judith Jill introduced herself as a board member. She's the new Vice Chair of the Foundation Board. Thank you for being here. And Ben Zion-Pashnik is here today on the board, as well as myself.
Let me see some money up in the air first here. Oh, John.
Thank you very much, Anna. That was a wonderful presentation. I've been a grateful recipient through Rotary projects, through other charities, and most recently, School for the Deaf. And know that we are all extremely grateful to you, to your board, to Araceli for the support over the last 20 years. We look forward to this. It's very ambitious. And we look forward to whatever role we can play as nonprofits to work alongside you. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you. And we'll be available outside to answer questions if any of you individually want to speak to any of us on the board or to Araceli. And my husband, Ellis Copeland, is here. He didn't get introduced earlier. Say hi.
Oh, okay, real quick, okay. Just, here we okay, is that good? Good. So, Anna, thank you so much for sharing where the organization has been for 50 years and where it's heading the next 50 years, and to the other board members and team here, that we know that you're doing amazing work, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts from the community of San Miguel. So thank you to everyone for your team and the board's efforts. And you've been very supportive of our club as well through the years. So we've continued that collaboration. We'll look forward to the partnership continuing. They are welcome to continue conversations with the representatives of the Community Foundation out in the cafe after this meeting. We welcome the Zoom audience to continue their conversations. There's a projects committee meeting immediately following this meeting. Thank you all, and have a great week as we continue our lives of service.